Hello, we're back. This is Dr. Harry, and yes, we are talking about music and talent and the Filipino. We're also talking about, we're featuring the Metro Manila Concert Orchestra, which we've been talking about, and the people behind it, much less the musicians. Now we are going to feature the concert pianist that they're featuring for this month, this week actually,
This
that's
week,
coming up.
on August 20th.
We have Artemio Panginiban III.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. Well, his name's Archie. He's the son of Supreme Court Chief Justice. I keep saying that. I'm sorry because they're in the news. Not for anything. Not him specifically, but now you're in America. I understand you're a concert pianist. That's what brings you for this concert,
Yes.
right? Archie, right? If I
Yes.
can call you Archie. But you're also into finance.
Yes.
Paano nangyari yung dalawa na yan?
Well, my first college degree was in management engineering. And then I shifted to music, so I was a full-time concert pianist for 6 years.
Jesus.
And then I shifted back to
Finance
math.
again.
Basically, it was math, applied math. So I took a PhD in operations research, which is basically applied math.
Applied math.
And then I moved to New York, and then got a job at the bank.
Applied math. Gee, you should be in NASA. Diba? Or with Tesla. Diba? Or some of the new cars or Virgin Airways that goes to the moon or something. Applied math.
Right.
But math and music share a lot of commonality. Correct me if I'm wrong. With rhythm, timing, it's numbers, yes?
Yes, you could say that, yes.
Basically the rhythm, the timing. When you read it, it's all mathematics.
I think in my brain it's separate.
Iba. Anong dating sa'yo sa musika? Emotion, puso.
Yeah, it's more the emotions, right?
But classical music is not necessarily improvisation. It's the discipline of the ability to play it over and over again perfectly, correct?
There's no such thing as perfect in music.
But classical music, how do you describe that? What makes you good? What do you think makes you good in your profession as a musician, not as a finance man? Where do you draw the line? Yeah.
I guess it's an art to figure out what the composer is trying to say, and then to say it in your in your own way.
Your rendition.
Yes, but still faithful to what the composer was originally intended.
So one musician to another will render the same thing in two different ways, miski papano. But the conductor, in this case, Mr. Ching, your conductor, Chino
Toledo.
Chino Toledo, who's a
Who's
conductor.
also a composer.
Who's also a composer, will try to make you perform it to what his mind and music is.
I would like to think it's a collaborative work. So with
So that's your character, that's your person, kumbaga.
I guess since it's a concerto with an orchestra, and we'll have to meld our interpretations together.
What do you like more? Obviously music over business management and finance. Because you took a PhD in finance. Baliktad. You had further studies. Applied math. I'm sorry, not even finance. Applied math. We've got a mathematical person here, you know.
Well,
you should be in the moon.
Well, that's my bread and butter. So that's how I make my living.
Oh, wait, hang on. Your bread and butter?
In terms of livelihood.
I thought I would call it Chief Justice. No, it's wrong, right?
Anyway, music's my...
I mean, you're not exactly poor, is what I'm trying to point out. You know, comedy aside. I mean, you're a fortunate person. You've got a very strong father, very knowledgeable, learned, obviously CJ, di ba? And he's reached the peak in his career, you know, in his own ways, di ba? And so obviously, you went to the best schools, you had everything. Oh, why applied math and why even say bread and butter? Hindi ka naman pobre.
I also don't want to be a parasite. I want to live on my own.
God, I think you've lived too long in America. Come back to the Philippines, we'll feed you. How did you find
Archie?
Archie?
Well, every year when we plan the concert season together with Chino, he always focuses on who has to be outstanding artist that can perform as a soloist for our concert season. Yes, and he's very, very meticulous. He's very selective, but he gives opportunity also to many young artists where he sees the potential for that artist to really be presented before the general public. Archie was mentioned not because he was the son of the Chief
Obviously,
Justice.
this guy's done it all on his own.
No, because at one time when we were sitting down with Laling in one of the meetings, and I mentioned, we're looking for soloists for the season next year. And he said, would you like to, there is this pianist that I had heard in the ASEAN Law Forum concert, and he is outstanding, and he just happened to be the son of the Chief Justice. I said, all right, I'll mention it to Chino. He was, I think, one of your first, you performed for him. He was your conductor.
In 2009.
Right, and according to him, he was brilliant. So he no hesitation.
You now live in New York.
Yes.
You work in New York.
Yes.
What's going to happen? You're going to pursue your music, you're going to pursue finance?
I'd like to pursue both.
Pwede ba?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2009, so I think it's doable.
Where do you find time for yourself? Are you married with children? You're alone?
I live
So
alone.
that's why you have...
Yes, yes.
So you don't sleep, you don't eat. You just play piano and you go to work and make money, go back, play piano, buy a new piano.
Well, when I'm preparing for a concert, I usually practice 1 to 2 hours in the morning before work, and then 2-3 hours at night. And then on weekends, the whole day.
The whole day.
Yeah.
That's okay, you're a nerd.
Going,
But you
going
know, Harry,
further.
this is what's interesting. Because when we perform before a school audience, when we say watching a symphony orchestra perform will teach you the very virtues that you want every student to experience while in school. That's being very sympathetic to each other, being very sensitive to one another. I am sure we did one time a marketing comparison, marketing salespeople and the orchestra. How long does it take you to prepare for one 3-minute piece? How long would it take someone in sales to prepare, understanding the product that he's selling? And the number of hours and the discipline and commitment that goes into the study of a 3-minute piece outweighs the number of hours someone in sales might spend to study a product.
I totally agree with you. Well, sales is basically BS. And the other one's discipline. I mean, not for anything, but it's total discipline. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
I'd like to continue performing even part-time, and then continue my job.
Doesn't one get in the way of the other? I mean, would you rather just do concert piano playing? Or it can drive you nuts? Because it can, you know.
Probably not. Maybe that's why I
You go to
stopped in the
work.
first place, because I was a full-time concert pianist earlier.
It's very taxing, isn't it? Physically, emotionally, mentally.
Yeah, because when I was in Germany, I was practicing at least 10 hours every day.
No, but that's what it takes to be,
Yes, that's what it takes.
especially classical music.
Yes.
It's not the ability to perform, it's the ability, the discipline to practice, practice, and practice. You just keep going.
Yes.
But it also drives you crazy.
But then it shouldn't be mindless practicing. There has to be a purpose to what you're doing when you're practicing.
Meron bang mindless practicing? I didn't even, that's a new word for me. Sige nga.
Yes,
New
you just let
description.
your hands do all the technique.
Kumbaga,
without staying-
rudiments
Yes.
ka lang, puro ganun lang.
Yes.
So your emotion every 2 hours in the morning and 3 hours at night is on the table.
Not all
Your
the time.
heart.
Not
Oh,
all
no.
the time.
But that's
Sometimes-
rudimentary practicing if your heart's not there.
Sometimes, if you're really practicing a certain passage, it could also be an intellectual work because you're analyzing where the piece should be going.
Oh, analysis. I
Right.
see. Oh, nga, no, I didn't see it that way. Ibang point of view ng musikero, no? Especially a pianist at this. Where do you see, after you're featuring Archie this week,
Yes,
and you're flying back to America? Ang bilis naman ng trip mo. Don't you want to say hello to your dad? Don't you want to get involved in the Supreme Court problems here? Don't you want to know about the presidency? Don't you want to know about Yolanda? The Pope won't come here. We're against the RH bill. I know, it's politics again. Let me get away from politics. Going back to music. What is in America, other than the job on the music side, do we have the same opportunities here? Do we have the same emotion? Do you find that you can play your heart out here just as much as you were if you were in New York? Or does New York require to be New York for you to be there?
In terms of the arts, I think because the U.S. is much more affluent, so there's much more support. There's more opportunity to support the arts.
That's true. But New York is, gee, what a difficult place to live in. Di ba?
I love it there.
Pero ang hirap ng buhay sa New York. I mean, you've got, what, 25, 30 million people in one city that's so dense with everything that's made available for you. The affluence can be also a problem as well. Well, I know they have this problem in Missouri. It's not in New York. But New York can be just as problematic, you know. But New York's a center for jazz as well. Oh, sa bagay, also classic.
Yes,
no?
classical, yes.
I have to agree. Would you like to give a message to our viewers on behalf of the musicians and the talents that are here in the Philippines, especially those who aspire to be like you, to be in New York, to have made it, to have a job in finance, to be educated as a doctor, to be a doctorate degree holder, and an established concert pianist? Can you give a short message to our viewers?
Well, I think aside from talent, what every musician needs is a lot of discipline and hard work.
Straight to the point. He's a nerd, ladies and gentlemen. He's a nerd, but hey, isn't that great? I aspire to be a concert pianist, but God made me a TV host that goes after politics. Gee, so you're stuck with me. Jingay, your message to our viewers.
Well, we'd like to have music very much a part of one's life. It's a source of inspiration, it's a source of learning, and it's an experience to feel the varying degrees of emotion that you can experience while watching a symphony orchestra in performance. There's a lot to learn when you're watching a symphony orchestra in performance. You're watching discipline, you're watching how harmony works amidst chaos. There are only 8 notes in the musical scale, but there are thousands of concertos that have been composed, millions of songs that have been composed by millions of people, all from 8 notes. And that's creativity, and that's genius, and that's a God-given talent.
Thank you very much, Jingay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll blow you away. I too am a musician. You'd be surprised. I play the drums. When I got out of school, I didn't have the courage of conviction to go to Berkeley, nor the money at that point in time. Or maybe we could have worked it out. The problem was I was a little too scared because everyone in my family said, "Hindi ka kikita dyan." Money had to be an issue. I pursued it anyway. I did both. I went to work and I played my music. And then I got so much into my music, I realized I wanted that more. But my problem was my group kept getting kicked out all over the places, what we call gigs. So I started putting up my own restaurant. That way I could play in it, and you're forced to listen to me. Of course, after a while, I got greedy, and I wanted more money, and I was subjected to stop playing. Ladies and gentlemen, I do understand music. I feel for it. But you know, there's that other part, like I said before the second break. There is the other side of the coin, music appreciation and music by itself, and the talents don't just pop out of the woodwork. It requires an audience. It requires appreciation. Tayo po, mga Pilipino, we can master this. And to do this, it requires your support. Very quickly, can we put up that poster one more time? Let's show this and remind them. Jingay, when are these dates again while we put up the poster?
That's August 23, this
August
Saturday.
20. Itong Sabado po ito, ha?
At 7:30 in the evening.
Terrific. Just leave your house 5 hours before because traffic will be there. And then after that, you can go to Quiapo and eat another 5 hours because Metro Manila Development Authority, not CO, will make sure you stay there. That's assuming there's no floods. But it's on Saturday.
It's on Saturday.
At 7 o'clock.
And it's a beautiful campus.
Don't take the MRT. You don't want to get stuck. Please take your car or start walking ahead of time. That's in FEU, correct?
Right, FEU Auditorium. It's the historic auditorium that was known as the Cultural Center of the 50s.
Yes, of the 50s. Yes, I read that
And
in the...
so that everyone will know ample parking.
There's
for
ample
everyone.
parking.
Ample parking.
See, there you go. Or call up MMDA and ask them for a lift. May kuryente, baka dumating yung MRT. You're on your own when you ride the MRT in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to end the show, and I hope you enjoy this. It's a little different. I know. But sometimes we have to do some things that are different, and it's not always bad news. So I hope you've enjoyed our good news, and don't forget this opportunity. And one last part, it requires your participation. Maraming salamat po. Congratulations. You are what you watch.